live stream, in the live stream, doing the stuffs and the things, and the stuffs and the things in the live stream, talking about the stuffs and the things, and the stuffs and the things, and the theisms and the not theisms, and the atheisms and the not theisms, and the gods and the not gods, and the stuffs and the things. Yeah. And I'm talking about martyrs, among other things. Does someone's willingness to give their life for something they believe in validate that thing that they're giving their lives for? Does that mean that we should believe in that thing that they have given their lives for? Or that all of the beliefs, tenets, rules, and whatever else of that thing are true and should be believed in and followed? Just because someone is willing to give their lives for it. Because it's a pretty powerful thing to believe in something so strongly that you are willing to give your everything, give your life and everything else for that something. Hello. For that something.
Boo. Hi. I'm home.
Why would someone give their lives for something that isn't true? I think it's a valid question, and one that many people tend to ask. But there are problems with that, and those are problems that I want to go over. Starting with the fact that a lot of people give their lives for a lot of reasons. A lot of people have died for various religions and cults, and my cats are fighting, and for countries, and for people. People have given their lives for things that aren't even religions. Hello. So, hello. So does that mean that everything that these other people have given their lives for should get equal treatment? Should that mean, because people are willing to die for Christianity, people like to argue, well, that means Christianity is true. Look at all these people who are willing to give their lives for it. People have given their lives to Islam, and people have given their lives for, this cult, and people have given their lives for the United States and Europe and Russia. Does that mean that, all of those things are like the countries, people willing to die for the country? Does that mean that every single country that has people willing to die for it is the best country that ever was, and that we should follow every single little thing about that country? No. And it's the same thing with religions. Just because someone's willing to give their lives for religion doesn't mean that means that religion is the one true be all, everyone should follow it because it's facts, because why else would they die for it? You have that shirt? Nice. It's my favorite shirt. What's my name? Drew. You have that shirt too? I think at least one of you is lying, probably. You're a great YouTuber? I disagree, but hello. She is so cute. The kitty cat? You see me talking about the cat? That's a shame. It's not a big deal though. Just take it back tomorrow.
I just realized it.
My wife accidentally brought something home from work. People do it all the time, honestly. I wouldn't stress about it.
Oh.
Passed through, showed support, and left some love in the chat. Going live consistently is no joke. I'm streaming right now too. Respect to everyone involved. Thank you. I appreciate it. Respect to you. Happy Friday! Sure, I'm being so for real. Someone's lying. I mean, it's a really awesome shirt, and it's from, I think it's from Walmart. Hold on, what is it? What's the thing? What's the thing? It's from, yeah, Celebrate Halloween. It's from Walmart, so I'm sure a lot of people have gotten it. But it's become my favorite Halloween shirt. I love it. very much. And then people try to argue, well, the apostles saw Jesus. They saw him perform these miracles and were willing to die for him. Why would they be willing to die for, something that was a lie if they knew that it was all made up? They saw something that they were willing to give their lives for. So were the people at Heaven's Gate and Jonestown. They were willing to give their lives for something they believe in. People can be tricked into believing all kinds of things, that wonderful, supernatural, magical things are happening even when they're not. There are people who go to faith healing churches today who think that there's actually something magical going on, even though many of those churches have been demonstrated to be scams. And in fact, I believe that they are all probably scams, unless there's one or two that are actually magic, which would be kind of cool, but we've debunked enough of them to where it's like it's probably all scams, if I had to bet. But there are still people who go and believe in those and believe that what they're seeing is something magical or supernatural. And especially when you go back, yonder in time, the further back in history you go, the more people attribute things that they don't understand to the supernatural. There's so much insect swarms, the sun rising and setting, changing of seasons, diseases, all used to be attributed to the supernatural. So if you're telling me that people 2,000 years ago saw something that they thought was magic and were willing to give their lives for this religious leader, that happens today, So it's just like, it's not surprising, and it doesn't give too much credibility, especially when we really don't have any backing of any of the things that Jesus did. The Bible is a book of claims, not necessarily the evidence for said claims. So we can't really even verify who saw it or what happened to them. Only 2 deaths. 2 or 3. Stephen and James were talked about. And then there was the other guy. 3. It only talks about 3 deaths of disciples following Jesus in the Bible, unless I'm missing someone, which I am. Please let me know. But it's believed that all of the apostles, all the 12 apostles minus Judas, and minus maybe one, died for the faith, were martyred. We don't even have accounts of that in the Bible. The thing of claims that we can't verify doesn't even say that that's in there. So we just don't have any backing of any of this, of what they saw, how they felt, what they died for, if they died, if they were real. We really don't have too much backing for any of that. I do not believe in Christ. You're so weird. Oh, I know it. What are your favorite foods? Pasta. I like pastas. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I don't care, honestly. Doom deleted someone. Can I ask your political opinions? Politics isn't my specialty, but you can ask. Not as on top of it as I need to be, but I believe Jesus lived and taught people morals, but that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I always say when asked about if I believe that Jesus was actually real, I say I have no issue, because I don't really know, but I have no issues believing that a dude existed, made some claims, gained a following, and got executed. It happens. It's there's nothing really incredible there. What political beliefs do I have? I believe in trans rights, abortion rights, due process, to name a few. I'm kind of curious about your politics too, though, although you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. It's not really my focus on my channel, but I don't shy away from it. I look like a Temu Superman. You know what? I'm going to take that as a compliment. I think I'm going to take that as a compliment. I don't even care what it was intended as. It was probably intended as a half compliment. But that's what it's going to be. I like the glasses. I think they're pretty cool. Personally. What superstition do you have? Not really any these days. I think I still have some residual, like, leftovers from when I was, like, a Christian and believed in God and spirits and all of that stuff. Just because deconstructing is a never-ending onion. You're always peeling layer after layer after layer after layer. So I'm sure I still got, like, some little... And I've talked about this in other videos. I have some knee-jerk reactions that are still based on some superstitious or previous things that I believed in that I don't believe in anymore. But not really believe. I don't really believe in superstitious, supernatural. I think he was misunderstood when he claims to be the Son of God. I believe he is speaking for humanity, not just himself. Maybe. Glasses make him look hot. I disagree. Do you have superpowers? No. Do you believe God, the origin of the universe, is a good God? I don't believe in a God. Whether it's a good God, I would need more details of it. Like, which God? Like, I don't think the Abrahamic God is a good being. Excuse me, gas bubbles. I don't think the Abrahamic God is a good being. But, like, you know, haunted by a demon? That doesn't sound fun. Is Trump bad? I think so. Kind of looks like, no offense, Walt Jr. Who's Walt Jr.? Is he cute? He better be cute. I'm Googling him. When I hit search, there better be a cute man on my screen. Also, he kind of looks like a child. I'll take it as a compliment anyway. Hello, hello, hello. I think I've just realized how important a difference between ex-Christian and ex-atheist really is. Yeah? Subscribe to respect. Well, thank you. People who convert into Christianity do it for emotional reasons. And as such, their belief in God just isn't built on reason, rationale, or logic. Which is probably why they're so resistant to conversation and debate. This might sound obvious, but I've only really solidified that in my mind recently. Maybe. Not gonna lie, I want to believe God exists. Me too. Too bad I don't anymore. Life was a bit easier when I did. At least I could blame him for my misfortunes. Now I've got to do it. Now I've got only myself to blame. It was nicer when I believed that, like, there was something looking out for me, and that, like, no matter what happened, even if the bad things happened, it's like, oh, it's fine, because, like, it's a part of his plan and all that stuff. It does kind of become a scarier game when Taylor walked into the room with an apple pie with ice cream on it and distracted me completely. And yeah, I agree. Letting go of that belief in a God, life becomes a little bit more scary. But it's just as scary as it was before. Either there is or is not a God. It doesn't necessarily matter if you believe in that God or not. So if there isn't a God, there wasn't a God when you still believed in a God. So it's like, it's just kind of facing reality and understanding how scary it is. But I can understand why the comfort of the veil over your eyes. My man, Lord Jesus loves you. Cool. Name is Bartholomew Justin James Jr. the third, and I would like to give you a like. I appreciate that. Can I translate that? Translate to English. There we go. I ask for prayer that everything bad happens to Trump. No, I'm not here to wish ill on anyone. That's kind of not here. Your arms hurts from sitting on this fence. I feel that. Why are there so many religious people? It's just a thing. Probably arises from humans. Because supernatural beliefs probably initially arose from trying to understand what we couldn't. You know, like, try explaining germs to somebody 50,000 years ago. Like, good luck, you know? or atoms or whatever else. Try explaining the gravitational pull of the sun as it moves through space and we orbit around it. You know, to someone 50,000 years ago. So like, you're looking at things. You know, this freaking Frank over here just like started getting really sick and like, you know, just started overheating and like he's spasming and all this stuff. Must be demons, you know, or he's like has a disease or something. But they didn't know that at the time. You know, where does the sun go at night? Well, obviously some magical thing makes it go behind the, you know, past the flatness of the earth, because what else did you have at that time? So I think a lot of religious and supernatural beliefs started with legitimate, genuine attempts to understand and explain the world around us. But those things started kind of weaving themselves, embedding themselves into cultures, rules and cultures, and salvation, and hopes and morals started being tied to these things, to where it's become a little bit more embedded in humanity, in overall global human culture, to where even with better science and better understanding of how things work now, it's still there. That's probably one of my best explanations I can give. I would like to tell you my testimony in short about how I was born again and met God. Sure. Oh, what are you doing? Can I translate on this end? Somebody's speaking to me in a different language, and I can only translate it on this side. It's not your fault. It's fine. Maybe I should just learn different languages. If you were God, would you even make a universe? I have no idea what I would do with that power. Do you know about the Demiurge and the Archons? I've heard it in passing before, but no. Overall face rating of 5.9 out of 10. Top 12% of the population lacks presence without muscle through muscle though. Lacks presence without muscles though. Overall face rating of, okay, 5.9 out of 10. Top 12% of the population lacks presence without muscle though. I don't really have muscle, that's what you're talking about. Lacks presence without muscle. Because I don't have muscle, so I lack the presence. Lose the glasses. Sure. Can't fucking read the screen. What's up? New to the stream. How you doing? Show off the biceps. You look built. You into fitness? I'm not very built. I've been working on this now. Interestingly, on the inverse, ex-Christians are usually people who grew up into the faith. Their belief is built on indoctrination and now who they are as a person or how they think. Maybe. No, stop doing that. Are you tweaking on frog gelatin? No, but that sounds amazing. Don't do drugs, kids. For a bit, I thought it was possible for many Christians to be enlightened when presented facts and reasons, but I've been underestimating just how much their emotional experience decide their beliefs. And it goes with, you know, even atheists too sometimes, unfortunately. I think that's just a human flaw that we have. I have a question for religious people. If nothing can occur on its own without any divine intervention, how did God happen? According to your logic, even God himself was created by another higher God. No, God's the exception. People like to paint God as the exception to, like, none of this stuff works, but God did it because he's the exception. How to donate to your channel? Likes, subscribes, views. This channel is not monetized, so like any kind of growth to get towards that direction, sharing with people, you know, just basic commenting, chatting, basic things to help drive the algorithm. It's about all you can do at this point.
Don't you have a Patreon? Is that what it's called?
Sorry?
Don't you have some kind of...
I have a Patreon, but there's and the links to all of my different everythings are in the description of my channel. If you go to my channel, go in the description. There's nothing exciting behind the Patreon paywall. I've been kind of trying to brainstorm ideas. I'm not one for like hiding exclusive content behind a paywall, because like that's just because I understand like rewarding people who are willing to donate to your channel and donate to your content and donate you. I get that. But also I grew up like kind of not having money, and there was like some of the YouTubers would put whole like series on their special Patreons or their special website behind paywalls, and I just kind of like didn't get to watch it because I didn't have the money for it. So it was just kind of like a fuck you to like people who don't have the money to just waste on a random dude on the internet. So I'm trying to find that balance of some kind of reward for people who are willing to donate to something like Patreon, and not saying fuck you to the people who don't have the money to waste on something like that, because it kind of is a waste. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I mean, if you want to you do whatever you want with your money, but to just people on the internet, I don't know. You do what you want with your money. I kind of got the idea of like maybe early access to videos, but I don't know. It's something I'm still just kind of playing with. I was an agnostic and in 2020 God revealed himself to me, and I was born again from the Holy Spirit, and he gave me new life, new heart, new mind. Jesus is real. How do you know he revealed himself? Alright, and you guys are talking to each other, so I don't have to respond. Because that just helps me scroll through chat faster. Like, if you guys are talking to each other, I usually won't. Like, if I see, like, at another commenter, I just will scroll right past usually, because it's just like, I have other people who are talking to me. Sometimes chat's moving fast. It's not moving fast, but for someone who's trying to read every single chat, it doesn't have to move very fast to move too fast, if that makes sense. Only 200 years ago, it was widely believed that there were human-like inhabitants of Mars and Venus, and we are just monkeys in suits playing house. Maybe. It's still like one of my favorite bits of like the history where like astronomers looked at Venus and they just saw like cloud coverage, so they're just like, oh my gosh, it's like it has to be a lush tropical rainforest. Like the entire planet has to be like a tropical rainforest to produce all that cloud coverage, so it must be like teeming with life. And then we sent a probe to measure the atmosphere, and it was like hundreds of degrees. It's just like Venus is literally hell, and I don't think anything could survive there. So I think that's just kind of funny. It's just like, oh shit, we were a little wrong. The universe had a beginning. It would seem so. At least our current representation of the universe seemed to have had a beginning. Most US people are uneducated Luciferians. They're not enlightened, and a tarred version, but their religion of self and flesh remains. So is tarred supposed to be like short for something? Because I'm not really gonna have that in my chat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll let it slide this time, but like next time I see someone say anything that even remotely sounds like the R slur, they're getting kicked. I don't really play with that word here. Why could the universe not have always existed? I suppose it's possible that it always existed in one form or another, but our current representation of the universe seems to have had some kind of a beginning. The Big Bang or the Great Big Expansion. Okay. If the universe cannot have infinite time, then nothing can. Perhaps. It's also one of the other YouTubers I watch. I'm sure you guys have heard this. Our current understanding of time and space happens at the birth, if you will, of the current representation of the universe that we have. So if you want to go back before the Big Bang or Big Expansion, then we're talking about what happened before time as we know it began in a place that existed beyond our current understanding of space. So when you try to go before the Big Bang, it's I have nothing for you, frankly. How do I know? Well, when God showed up, you just know. But I did also hear from him. He spoke to me. So people think that they have religious experiences with other gods. So they tell them different things. And there's going to be people who claim to have experiences with your God who tell them different things. So how do we figure out what's our method of demonstrating that this is actually God telling me truthful things? Even if people could fully comprehend an existence outside of our universe, what we imagine doesn't necessarily imply that it's true in reality. Yep, at best it just confirms it's a possibility. Yeah. And technically, if you want to be really like, if I want to be really pedantic about it, possibility also needs to be demonstrated. So like technically we can't even say it's possible, but colloquially we can say, anything's possible. You play with logic and arguments at least, or do you just simply ignore what you don't understand and cannot rebuttal? I love thinking about stuff, thinking about arguments. I've kind of made a whole channel about it. I try to find rebuttals for everything just because that's how things work. I don't just accept things when presented to me. I try to pick it apart and try to understand it better and see if there's any flaws in it. It gives a better understanding of the God behind this weird system dominating real life and the true great mystery that manifests all. Maybe we're just inside a black hole, and the Big Bang was just the first part of matter crossing the event horizon. I kind of like that. I don't know if I agree with it, but I kind of like it. Yeah, our current physics is still unable to decode things before a time yet. Yeah. Jews, Christians, Muslims can't say Yahweh or Allah or Hashem due to ancient Jewish tradition and avoiding these sacred names. Is that true, and why is that? I'm not sure. I mean, that's my first time hearing that. I have dry skin on my lips. Please forgive me. Like my ADHD, it sticks as I'm talking, and my ADHD is just kill. Just take it out. I'm trying to fight my brain. In the Nag Hammadi, I'm not familiar with that. God is an ignorant creation that deemed itself God in error. Maybe. There's different kinds of possibilities. Those that are known possibility and open-ended possibilities that prey upon a lack of understanding of the limitations. Maybe. Is time linear or non-linear? I'm not sure if I can answer that question. I'm not sure if I have the answer. Linear, right? I don't know. What do you think? Personally, I'm not of the opinion that it's likely there is a form of existence beyond our universe, but it probably doesn't operate on any universal laws and probably doesn't operate on rational laws either. Yeah, I would completely understand if whatever there was before the Big Bang didn't apply to the rules that the universe now applies to, or if there's something beyond this universe that it might not apply to, the same rules might not apply to what's beyond. It could be something else truly incomprehensible. Infinity plus time spent is where we are on the timeline. We don't have to be at zero. Negative infinity plus time spent is where we are on the timeline. We don't have to be at 0. Okay? The time we perceive is linear. I think I could agree with that. Yes, remember, Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. It's hard to put it in a couple of words, but when you're born again, you're born again. You are not religious. I'll keep writing. Okay. Emphasis on the we perceive. Mm-hmm. Where are you when you dream? Where am I when I dream? Usually in my bed. It's typically, usually in the same place where I fell asleep. I mean, I've fallen asleep in cars before, so technically, like, I'm like in a different place, like when I wake up. But typically, I'm wherever my body is, because that's me. What? Okay.
I can't look at my husband.
No, absolutely not. How dare you? Love you. The way I've thought about it is that we are locked in time. We experience it linearly because of our design. Maybe. If you had one question for God, and you wouldn't get the answer, what question would it be? God, that's a good one. I like that. Do a flip? No. One question for God. One question for God.
The very next line that I scrolled to. I'm like,
I'd say I'd get back to you on that, but I'll forget about it. So I kind of want to like sit here. If I had one, what about you guys? If you had one question for God, whatever God, like there is a God. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the Christian God. It's like just like the God creator being of the everything. Or if you have a question for a specific God, what would your number one question be? You get one. Yeah, when you're dealing with infinity, you can never reach 0. That doesn't mean infinite is impossible. Yeah, kind of wishing I was next to you every time I dreamed. No. Teo slipped on ice and the internet laughed at her. Is she a martyr? So happy.
Who remembers my video?
So happy that you know that.
Who remembers my video?
That's someone who really likes the content. Not to like shit on the people like who don't understand that reference. But that's someone who likes my content enough to go and watch my wife's content.
I need to add more videos on there, but who remembers my video?
It's one of our regulars. RM 12500. Pretty cool.
Just me. What?
It literally does. If you were at t equals 0, this is just what I define as our current time is. Okay, current time is 0. And beginning is negative infinity. We can never reach. If we can never reach 0, we never reach our current time. Time equals 0 is 1. See, I've heard this argument before, and I think I've talked to you about it, Moral Compass, before, of like if time is infinite in either direction, technically we can't move forward. But the way I see it, if you have an infinite amount of steps, and it's like goes all this way and all that way, you can still take it step by step. Technically, you aren't moving on the timeline, but like you are still moving. So you are still technically moving through time, even if you can't even begin to touch either ends of time. And perhaps in the grand scheme of things, therefore, perhaps you are not moving. Still, from your perspective, you are still moving through time. At least from your perspective.
You know, we're getting back to that winter time where it's going to start getting snowy and icy again.
Mm-hmm.
Internet may end up with more videos.
Maybe. I was gonna go look at Jupiter tonight because it's at opposition tonight and tomorrow. But it was snowing, so we had like cloud coverage and shit.
Yeah.
So whatever. My question would be, why did you create us? I think that's a good one. Just like, I just want to understand. There's so much. Like, can I just like wrap it all up and just like I want to understand? Can I just wrap it all up in that? Why are we here? What did you make us for? Where the fuck did you go?
He's all knowing. You should
Why?
know what you mean.
Why does this exist? Why did I just want to know, like, not necessarily any judgment. I just like there's so much, and I just kind of want to understand what your thought process was and is. Infinite has to be part of the equation when dealing with infinite. Yeah. If Star Wars is set a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, doesn't that mean that we're seeing the light of Star Wars now? Depends on how far away. Depends on how far away. Because it could be that it's so far away that that light still hasn't reached us yet. Maybe. I don't know. Theoretically, there's a prime consciousness in the universe. What would your question be for the supreme being? I think I would try to wrap it up and just like, can I understand? Like, help me understand. Wow, my brain rejected that. It's like I tried to process it, and every time like it came across the processor, my brain's just like, no, I don't want. Infinity is less like a number and more like a mathematical sequence of events. The idea that a sequence is endless is much more tenable than something infinitely vast in scale. Do you think the universe was created by trial and error, i.e. there have been multiple failed attempts that we can't comprehend? I have no idea. Maybe. You made two math statements that can't touch and applied them to something else. I don't know the secrets of the universe, and neither does anyone else. Obviously, to eat, fucking sleep. Hey, what works for you? It's my birthday. No. It's my birthday, and haven't spent it with anyone. No family, no gifts. Anyone feeling generous? Even $1 is really appreciated. I don't really. You don't really need to come into my chat and be panhandling. Happy birthday, I hope your day gets better. But like, I don't know you. I don't know why or how you're asking for money. Very good question. That's how great scientists asking questions. Great questions. Great questions. That's how we get great scientists asking questions. Yeah. If there's an answer as to why we exist, the answer would probably be beyond the realms of what we are even built to process, probably. If there's a miniature universe where the only law that governs it is 1 + 1 = 2, and then you asked it, what is the origin of consciousness? Yeah. It would be so unfathomable to that universe that we don't even recognize it. Even if it was shoved right in front of us, we don't have the prerequisites to understand it. Maybe that's why we don't understand God. Another thing that makes being religious easier, at least I could look forward to a day I meet God and ask him all that I'm curious about. Yeah. There's that too. Does negative infinity plus infinity times 2 equal infinite? I don't think you can add infinite. I don't think you can add. I don't think it makes any sense to add infinite. I think infinity equals infinity in all applicable directions. So like if we were looking at a linear timeline that would have two, for lack of a better word, endpoints, and it's an infinite timeline, that it would be, and we can do it number line wise, going from 0 to negative infinity to positive infinity. That would be infinity, but we can't like add infinity or subtract. Maybe there's a reason They don't beg. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about North Korea. We have not mapped the edge of the universe. We look in the blackness of the space. No one knows where it ends. This is true. You want to know what's a fun piece of, like, space knowledge? A good portion of the universe we literally can't see because our galaxy is in the way. How fun is that? So, like, hold on. I know it's Saturn, but just play with my imagination for a little bit. So, like, the universe is like kind of a flat disk. It's a spiral galaxy. I know this isn't flat. I said play with my imagination, and we're like somewhere in here. So we're like on this point. Like say we're right here where it connects. Say we're just right there. We can't see this way because the galaxy's in the way. We can't see this way. We can't really see this way or this way because the galaxy's in the way. We can really only see in this direction and in this direction. And that's it. Like half of our view, maybe more than half of our view of the universe is blocked by our own galaxy. How fun is that? So like all the infinite stuff we're looking at isn't even like the full field of everything. How great is that? Love it. In the Bible, God hides his face primarily because his full of glory is so immense that sinful, finite human beings cannot survive and direct experience. God created the system like that. Why? When we fall asleep, where do we go? Oh, Taylor's deleting people. We don't.
Don't say words that you're not supposed to say.
We go in our brains. We're just in our brains. It's just we're just thinking. Thanks for the birthday wish. Wasn't panhandling. Some people are generous. For others, don't know if there were any or not. Well, happy birthday. God tells Moses, "You cannot see my face, for no one can see my face and live." Sure. Abraham talked to God, and God was just kind of like a dude standing next to him talking. Jacob wrestled, forgot like the most basic names. Jacob wrestled with God, like full on squared the fuck up. But it's fine. But we'll go with that. No one can see God's face. Why did you create a system like that? You're in charge. Why did you make it that way? Cool. It goes on forever, backwards and forwards, and we are in the middle. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, I don't like that.
That's actually a really good idea.
Oh, I don't like that. Because I was just thinking, like, because what came into my brain was like space. Space is infinite in every direction. So where's the middle? I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
You hate what?
Space is infinite in all directions.
Oh.
Just like, where's the middle? Because he's like, it goes on every... And he might have been talking about the timeline, which is also equally frustrating. But that's just where my brain went. Middle is the start. But if it goes infinitely in every direction, what do you mean middle? What does middle mean? How do we get... If it's infinite in every direction, there is no middle. Is there?
Someone gave you a good idea for your Patreon.
Oh my gosh, my thing just like... What just happened? Hold on, I just lost chat for a second. Give me a second.
Someone said, how fun is that segment on your Patreon?
How fun is that segment? But then it's going to deprive people who don't want to waste money on me of the how fun is that section. I would absolutely make that normal content. I have not seen Michael Stevens' new podcast. I know you saw that. Maybe I did. Negative plus a positive double the amount,
Because that's the
then
dosage
it's
I believe.
plus infinity. And I didn't see what she deleted. I didn't begin infinitely long ago. Infinitely implies those arms are shredded. They're not. I might need to skip down. Yeah, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. I skipped some chats just because I was woefully far behind. Please forgive me if you want. If I missed something, please just put it again. I just got behind in chat, and I like to keep up. Universe is not actually infinite. Is expanding in a way that we can never reach the borders. Universe isn't actually infinite. It's just expanding in a way that we can never reach the borders. I don't know if I like that. This realm is more than the story taught. Maybe. Perhaps there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of in your philosophy.
But what's past the border?
Like if you... what's past the borders? Nothing's west of Westeros. Like if you drop something into a pot, it expands from the point that you drop it in. Yes. So like relative to the... Like there's a middle to the universe. No. Yeah. Yes. 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 Because great expansion from a singularity, there has to be a middle. I hate this. Infinity is such a frustrating thing to like play with mentally, but I love it, and I hate it at the same time. That's kind of why I love it.
I'm subbing for how fun is that? But now I hate that segment too.
I hate that. You wanna. How fun is that segment? And I hate that segment. Just come to the live streams. That's where you get them. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. When God sacrificed himself to save the world from the system that he created, that all went wrong with an incident in a garden that was 100% his fault. And then after he sacrificed himself to himself, he got back up 3 days, a day and a half later, like nothing happened, walked around, let someone stick their fingers in his wounds like it was a party trick, and then skipped back up to eternal bliss in heaven. So he's fine. It's not even a sacrifice. So I don't know. What do you see happening in the world in the year 2026 and why? I'm not excited for it. It's either going to keep doing the crazies that it's doing, or there's going to be some kind of turning point. I don't know. I'm not excited for it. I fell behind in chat again. I'm sorry. I'm skipping people. Just keep posting what you want me to see. It gets faster the further you look away. He knows how to think. I try. Sorry, I was writing for a long time. English is not my first language. No, you're fine. At a certain point, it expands so fast that we can't see anything beyond a certain point. What are we talking about? Genuinely asking. Infinity. Universe and time being infinite, and how I hate it and love it at the same time. The divine built infrastructure here on every continent, including temples and underground systems that have been buried. Maybe. All other religions are humans' attempts to reach God, but when God gives you new birth, then God comes to life in you, and the Holy Spirit guides you through all truth. But all these other religions are claiming to have the one true way and one true God as well. So, like, what do you have that they don't have? I can tell you about how I saw Jesus and how I hear him and how God's words says that his sheep knows his voice. Other religions got similar stuff, so, like, what do we got? The message is just above talking about space-time. Hey, Drew, happy Friday. You're so handsome. As you already know, I don't. Even though I don't agree with your atheist views, I do love when you keep me company. Glad to be here. No Goon Cave. Think with your F-brains. The universe is so massive. There is worlds no one will ever see, circling around a star no one will ever see. That star might have planets no one will ever see. Absolutely. I can tell you about how many people who were atheist or did not seek Jesus and did not find him, but he found them because he is the one who saves out of his love for us. Other religions do the same and claim the same. So, what do you got? I do have this other comment over here that I wanted to read that I got recently. All who are atheists towards religions, not towards the Bible. Man lack knowledge about Bible. Hosea 4:6 KJV. Always seek to know and to understand before taking a label upon oneself. I have thought and understood, and I understand that I have no reason to believe in a God. There's not too much to think on with that. I have no reason to believe. I thought I'm on it, and I've tried to find reason, but I have not found reason. And all who are atheists towards religions. Atheism is just lack of belief in a God. It's not necessarily anything towards the religion or the Bible as a whole. The God of the Bible, sure. Men lack knowledge about the Bible. Some people do. Some people study it better. Yeah, I just disagree with that. I think it's just someone trying to tear apart atheism and failing. Look, we fundamentally disagree. You insist time is at 0. I say it's negative infinite plus time past which we can't define. We won't agree, and you can't change my mind or prove it. Okay. Tell me an astrophysics yo mama joke. Can't say I have one of those queued up. God is not hiding from us, and he wants everyone to know that he is the true God. Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to me, the Father, except for me. Other religions have beings that said things. If you ask Jesus today to reveal himself to you and show you that all other gods are false, how he will do so. Your heart just has to be honest and open to receive. I've had pretty honest and open hearts, and he hasn't showed up. And if he did, how would I know it's actually him showing up and not my head? Because again, other people have this same supposed God showing up to them, telling them different things than this other person that this God showed up with. So is God trolling them, telling them conflicting things? Are one of them being tricked by Satan? How do we know? Are you being tricked by Satan? Are we all just wrong, and like there's another God that like we haven't discovered? Does like one person have a relationship with God and all the rest of us are wrong? How do we know? How do we know who's talking to us and how they can be relied upon? And how do we know it's not just our head voice? Even if we don't get to see those planets and stars, we will still see the effects and things that are created after their deaths. Maybe. When you were born, do you know where you came from? No. When you die, do you know where you go? No. I'm pretty sure I came from my parents about 9-ish months after they did the sideways beat bop. And they came from their parents and their parents and so on. And I'm pretty sure after I die, I'm just going to kind of like rot away, you know? I mean, I'm an organ donor, so like hopefully my organs will go to someone and like not rot away yet, but like get them a nice long happy life, and then they can rot away after they die, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I think about where I came from and where I'm going. Dan McClellan is honestly terrifying with his encyclopedic knowledge and understanding of the Bible and Christianity. It's pretty awesome. If there's no God, then surely morality is subjective to each and every individual, not necessarily. Morals and ethics seem to have evolved with society as we learned how to deal with one another and work together for the betterment of a society and the people in that society, including ourselves. So it's not just whatever everyone else feels. It's an agreed upon system that we've passed down for about 200,000 years of human history. That isn't perfect and isn't objective, but it's more than just whatever everyone feels. Welcome to the same source. It's universal consciousness that everyone is connected. Maybe. Dude's having it all wrong. Maybe. Do you have an opinion on Taoism and other karma-based religion? I like the Eastern religions a lot better. Studying Buddhism actually helped me manage my anxiety better and help me to fall asleep at night easier. So Buddhism actually has improved my life and improved the lives of those around me, because when you're not anxious, I'm still anxious, but when you're not as anxious and when you're getting sleep at night, you're usually a more pleasant person to be around. How's life going? It's going. Any portion of a linear infinity can be defined as any portion of a linear infinity can be defined and quantified, can it? Sideways bebop, yep. Rot away, yeah. You think the universe is rotting? I was talking about my own body. The universe, I'm not really sure where the universe came from, but there are some theories of how it started. There's the Great Expansion. We don't really know what came before that. And there's some ideas of how it might end, heat death being one of the ideas, but I don't really know that either. Look in the mirror. You are the universe looking at itself in the mirror. You are the universe. I hate that. Taylor just pointed at me. She goes, universe. 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 And now you have to suffer with that too. So did it all come from your mother? I was talking about my own body, my guy. So what are you? Are you separate from the universe? I think we're all a part of the universe. We're all just the atoms and stuff from the universe. Prove you aren't the only real person. I can't. So you're separate from the universe. It seems like we are all part of the universe.
There's a second person.
There's a second person. So are you the universe? I'm one tiny part of the universe. I feel like Alan Watts, he asks a lot of scary questions. Like, what are things and why do we want them? I kind of like Alan Watts too, not gonna lie. I kind of like him. Imagine the universe right now is like popping out. Imagine the universe right now is like popping out. It's like the universe looking at itself. You are the expression of the universe. I'm an expression of the universe. I'm a thing that the universe does. I'm, some of the atoms that in the universe have made stars and this and that, and some of them have made me, and some of them have made stars and planets and, whatever, and they have come and made me. So part of it, yeah. So when does evolution stop for humans then? Or do we continue to evolve, maybe growing forearms or four eyes? Evolution stops when reproduction stops, and I have no idea what it's going to look like in human future, or how long we're going to survive, because evolution in humans takes a hot minute to do anything. So I don't know. Check back in a million years, see if we're still around and what we look like. Rotting flesh. Yeah, so what are you, rotting flesh? Not yet. You're like half listening to the things that I'm saying. Make sure you're pooping standing. It's good for your health. No. Do you believe in aliens? I would definitely like to believe that we're not the only ones out there. The basic stuff needed for life and that we depend upon are like everywhere. So like, and the universe is like infinite, or if not infinite, inconceivably large, with an inconceivable amount of stars and planets and whatnot and resources and whatnot. I would be very, 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 very shocked to find out that there was no life whatsoever out there. But I'm not going to claim to know for certain that there is. I have no idea. Wolves evolved into pugs is not always a good thing. Evolution just kind of does what it does. It's just based on natural selection. So best we can hope for. So we can hope for we are hotter as a species. Maybe. Michael Stevens said we are the universe ignoring itself, and I really feel that. Maybe. We're a part of it. Universe created you. You don't know where you came from. You don't know where you go. So what are you? A part of the universe. I'm true Skaggs. So everything scientists and doctors teach about humans will eventually change down the road. If we have everything wrong completely, if not, we would throw out the things that we do have wrong and build upon our knowledge of the things that we already have right. It's impossible that there isn't other life. It seems like it would be impossible for there not to be any other life. I am gay. Nice. Pugs are absolutely not natural selection. There was humans who fucked up the wolves. Yeah, all the dog breeds are from humans. It is still evolution, but it's not natural selection. It's artificial selection. It's a little bit different. But evolution can produce weird things that don't really work. My dad created the blueprint September 6th, and I came out the assembly line on June 4th. More or less, you know. So you are the universe, part of the universe, yes. I'm not the entire universe, but yes, I am a part of the universe. I am the universe, the omniverse, and the antiverse. Yeah, true evolution is all about good enough, not the perfect specimen. Yeah, it really is just like what has a better chance of reproduce. It's really just about what reproduce is, and typically what has the better chance of reproducing, what is good enough and gets by, or what might be better, will typically give you a better chance of reproducing and pass down genetics. But it also is just reproducing. And a lot of the times it is, just like what's good enough. You evolved from cats? Nice. Evolution does not suggest natural, it's merely a change over time. Maybe. I'm just a guy. We are part of the universe and the whole universe in an intra-paradoxal way. Maybe. One thing I have liked doing is coming into these live streams like with a topic so that I come in and I'm just like talking. I've tried it in the past few live streams and it seems to really help get the live stream going and keep it going and keep chat going. And I just get more engagement. Who'd have thought, actually like having a plan and structure and not just like making shit up as I go along and winging it actually works. Isn't that interesting? It's not how you scope it and why. It's just how you scope it and why and how you use it. Yeah. It's not over when you die. I mean, you go back to the source where you came from. Yeah, but your consciousness isn't really there. The things aren't the way they're supposed to be in order to produce your consciousness. So it's like, yes, you are still around. Everything that makes up you gets returned to the earth, to the soil or whatever else, yes. And it continues on. But your consciousness, it just kind of stops. You're having an engagement? No. I'm married. Oh, you retracted your message. We need our individuality. Yeah. Hindus believe in deities and souls and eternal, and Jainism emphasizes nonviolence and eternal soul. Buddhist denies the eternal soul and one's self-effort to achieve nirvana by meditation. All three believe in karma and rebirth. Yeah. Have you heard of egg theory? It's come across my desk, but what is egg theory? When you die, your soul still lives? If you have a soul, maybe. Do you have a favorite science-y YouTuber? I like Hank Green. I like Forrest Valkai. This is one of the favorites I found. And I love this live. Well, I'm glad. You're a cool dude. Well, thank you. Soul is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. No. it's fine if like energy gets like transferred into different things and keeps going, kind of like matter. That's fine, but calling it your soul and saying that it's your soul and therefore your soul lives on, that doesn't really compute. Look in the mirror. You look at the mirror. Look in the mirror. Look at 10 minutes. You see a galaxy in your eyes. Sure. It's a staring contest. You are the universe. How hard can it be? Fractals, part of the universe. The egg theory suggests that the universe is essentially an egg to grow God Jr., and that humanity, life in the universe, is a new God being raised and grown into majority. The egg theory suggests that the universe is essentially an egg to grow God Jr., and that humanity, life, the universe, is a new God being raised and grown into maturity. Okay. The universe is an egg and everyone shares a soul. You will live every life, then the egg will hatch. Okay? But faith, bro, nah. Best to describe a soul, but soul has energy in it. I don't even know that a soul exists, let alone any properties of it. Which sounds fucked up and horrific, but it's honestly not. It's interesting. You look good, don't worry about the haters. Nah. Any chance I could cook for you? Maybe. Fractal is one of the answers, yes. It's not the answer. Sure. If you ask Jesus today to reveal himself to you and to show you that all other gods are false, he will do so. Your heart just has to be honest and open to receive. And if I actually asked right now with an open and honest heart, would you tell me when inevitably nothing happens, would you just tell me that my heart wasn't open and honest? Just one of the tools. You look good, don't worry about them. Nah. Look in the mirror. Egg theory implies you should be good to everyone because someday you will be them. Not a bad way to live. I don't know if I really vibe with the idea of be good to everyone because that's going to be you. I think you should be good to anyone regardless of if they are you or not, just because they're an individual person just like you who deserves the same, love and whatnot as you do. Is that how Jesus Christ works? Maybe. We are turning into a frequency we call consciousness. We do not create consciousness in our head. It seems like consciousness is kind of an emergent property of the brain. It's a result of chemical reactions in the brain. Orthodox, I'm not trying to say it funny, my brain just doesn't want to talk. Orthodox Christian from East Europe. I was going to just let myself, because sometimes my tongue trips over words and I just say it stupidly, but I didn't want it to, come out as, the SpongeBob meme, I'm Orthodox Christian. Yeah, I didn't want to, try to be insulting, which is why I stopped myself, and I'm explaining that to you. Because a lot of the times when my tongue tries to trip me up, I will just push it out and it'll sound dumb, but I stopped myself because I didn't want to, I didn't want to sound like I was making fun of you. I apologize. See the whole universe in those eyes. Maybe. The church completely annihilated Christ's message. Maybe. You look Italian? I'm not. I need to take that trash out. Drew doesn't age like milk, and he doesn't age like wine either. He ages like goddamn ambrosia. He achieved immortality. I don't know what ambrosia is. Love you, dude. Thank you. Even the apostles misunderstood Jesus in so many ways. Seems like it. I get that way when I drink too, bro. Hey, I'm 2 or 3 years sober? 2 years? 3 years? 2 years? 3 years? 2 years? 3 years? 2 years? 3 years? I actually wrote it down in my notes because I can't keep forgetting. I can keep forgetting. Yeah. So I'm about 2 years sober. I'm also about 2 years recovering from my head injury, and I still have nerve damage. Isn't that fun? So why do you think nothing would happen? That is precisely the indicator that you are not open to finding out because you automatically reject the possibility God exists. Maybe. Ambrosia is the food of the Greek gods and is said to give any mortal who eats it immortality and eternal life. It's fun. I don't know if I want eternal life, I'm going to be honest with you. It's the objective and the subjective have ways which don't make sense, how they work together. It's the objective and the subjective have ways which don't make sense that work together. Maybe. My mouth is trying to quit, man. My mouth doesn't want it, you know? My words aren't wording. I mean, we're probably nearing the end of the stream anyway, but gosh, my brain's just like, stop. Drink from the fountain of youth. You're a vampire. Maybe. Can I be a sexy vampire? So if you can explain death, you go black. You should also explain where consciousness comes from. Consciousness seems to be an emergent property of chemical reactions in the brain. And when we die, those chemical reactions stop. So that consciousness, those thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, all of that just kind of goes away. I like to use the analogy of a projector and a projection. When you turn off the projector, or it breaks, or it's whatever else, the projection just kind of goes away. It just kind of like ceases to be. The projector is still there. The parts that once made the projection are still there, but it's just not projecting anymore. So our consciousness, our thoughts, feelings, all of that stuff just kind of stop. So essentially, from our perspective, we would cease to exist. Essentially, and the consciousness that is, us, would essentially cease to exist. Is the best explanation I have come across of what happens when we die, if there is no God or afterlife. When you die, it's just like before you were born. Just remember it, yeah? We are born blind. We live our lives seeing. We die blind. Maybe. It's like the quantum metal neuro and the solar masses relativity don't make sense how they function together. Yeah. I remember what it was like before I was born. That was a profound nothingness. The most profound nothingness. What would convince you? What specific evidence or experience would convince you that God or a creator exists? I have no idea, but especially if we're talking about, the tri-omni God, the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving God, an all-knowing God would know what it would take to convince me. An all-powerful God would be able to do what it takes to convince me. And an all-loving God who wants a relationship with me would do what it would take to convince me. So, ball's kind of in his court, honestly. That's probably not just me being in the womb, not actual nothingness, maybe. Dude, if you could remember the womb, that'd be pretty crazy. What are we talking about? Wombs, I think. We gotta define what God is. Yes, we do. Human C, RGB, there's ultraviolet, red shifts. I believe when Jesus comes back, as prophesied. I don't even know if I would believe that. Humans see a small spectrum. Yeah. What language do blind, deaf, and mute people think in? God equals everything? God equals everything, question mark, equals universe plus nothing, question mark. Humans see red, green, blue. Actually, humans are blind. Maybe. If your equation doesn't have it doesn't want it. If your equation doesn't have infinite in it, we don't want it. Maybe. Hey, Zaddy, hi. So talk about death and life compared to blue, red, green, and blue, okay? Do you like Pokemon? Yeah, I do. I like Pokemon. Not like the biggest fan, but I like it. I quite literally remember the first minute after being born. My earliest memory is a state before that I didn't quite understand. That is very interesting. What is the Third Council of Nicaea? I don't remember. We don't see shit. Drew Hotspot, thank you. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to who. Blind people don't just see black. They see nothing. Correct. We see few spectrums with our eyes. We can see a lot in the space in our minds. Maybe. I identify as a Pokemon now because Drew likes Pokemon. It's pretty funny. And that, like, seeing black versus seeing nothing, I kind of like, because I use that because I've gotten the rebuttal of, oh, so when you die, you're just sitting in infinite darkness forever. No, there's nothing. It's not dark. It's not darkness. There's nothing. There's not darkness there. There's not a you there to sit. There's not even a there. It's just nothing. As soon as you put any kind of attributes on that nothing, you'll lose it. You'll lose the plot. Favorite Pokemon? I'm pretty basic. I like Blastoise. That's exactly what I wanted to tell you, that God will reveal himself to you in a personal way that you will be able to recognize him. Maybe. I'm hungry, I'll cook, this is fun. Do it. I should probably end the stream soon. Gives myself some food and whatnot. Like you without a beard? I like myself without a beard. I kept it and let it grow out as much as I did because of time constraints and the necessity of me being out in the cold and in a colder environment. Don't need to do that anymore necessarily, and I have a little bit more, not really free time, but a little bit more control over my schedule these days, which is why I'm doing 3 lives a week instead of 1. So shave it off. I kind of rock with like the stubble or like when it's like really short, kind of like it, but I prefer to be kind of clean shaven. Like, it's when I have like that, you know, really full beard, it actually messes with my mental health because I don't like that. Like, it actually makes me more depressed and stuff when I have that. So I'm glad to have been able to shave it off. People who have gone blind either just see the light level of the room or black, depending on the type of blindness. There is, my best friend died. Oh, so did mine. I trust him with my life. He said, sure. You're good with or without a beard. There's afterlife. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Maybe there is an afterlife. I would like there to be something else. You look hot with or without a beard. Well, thank you. He said it was the ultimate love feeling when he died. Some people, when they have near-death experiences, say all kinds of stuff that they saw. Some people saw nothing. A lot of people will see something that goes with what they would expect to see. So a lot of different cultures, depending on what culture you have a near-death experience in, a lot of the times what you see will be associated with the culture, when the religion and whatnot, the religious or spiritual beliefs of the area, because that's just what you would expect to see. That's kind of what's loaded into your brain. So that's what your brain plays when you're having those moments. But some people see nothing. Beep. Though it's different if they literally don't even have eyes. Yeah. Subscribe to your videos. Thank you. Then they're getting literally no perception, not even black, which is such an interesting concept of like, because like I get it, like people who are blind who've never been able to see and have like no sight, maybe they're just born without eyes, like nothing, don't see black, they see nothing. What the fuck does that, you know, is like, I know I casually played with that analogy of like, you know, you're not going to be sitting in infinite darkness, there's going to be nothing. But what does that even mean? I really like, you know, it's just like, I don't know. Do you think there's any life outside of Earth that is many centuries ahead of us? Maybe. God loves you? Sure. In a hospital, I was put to sleep with ketamine for a reduction on my badly broken arm, and I really was nothing for a little while. It was actually really nice coming back to reality with that experience. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Nobody lives forever. Yeah, seems like it. Everybody dies. Seems like it. Israelis does not represent the global Jewish population. I would agree. What up? What up? It makes me realize that people understand things by comparing. Lack of comparison results in lack of understanding. I think I'd agree, honestly. It's just one of the easy ways to like understand and wrap your head around something is comparing it to something that you have wrapped your head around, even if they're not quite comparable. I think a lot of blind people do see black, but if all they ever see is black, how are they supposed to know what black is? They need contrast to understand the very limited thing they can see. Maybe. Are you Christian? No. Are you okay? Doctors don't put people to sleep with ketamine. Maybe this doctor did. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. There probably aren't any doctors in this chat. So if you have a river flowing in, pushing a mill to make grain, the same water goes back to the river. If you have river flowing in, pushing a mill to make grain, the same water goes back to the river. Yes. It's just flowing and it's pushing the mill. Drew, are you? See, it's really funny that you asked that question that I'm about to read. As I'm like my voice almost went like demon raspy voice. Drew, are you still Drew, or has the skinwalker I hired gotten to you yet? No. Maybe there is a dystopian civilization somewhere in the universe that people look different than us, and someone who does look like us is considered ugly or physically unwell. Maybe. Maybe it's not even a dystopian. Yeah, it's hard to find nothing. I like something more. Yeah. Well, because you can't define nothing. Because as soon as you try to put attributes to it, it stops being nothing. That sounds like you're a skinwalker. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a skinwalker. Maybe I'm a Christian. You don't know what I got. Not once have I ever heard you clear your throat like that. You've never watched us. You've never paid attention. How many lives have you been a part of, and you've never paid attention enough to hear me clear my voice, clear my throat? I'm a very mucusy person. Doesn't like it. Nothing can only be described by comparing it to something. Christian skinwalker. Wild. Maybe. With that, I do think I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. Thank you all so much for being here. Clear your voice many times, but not like that. Thank you all for being here. 22 likes. This might be like the most likes, or like up there, like top 1 or top 2, or top 3 definitely, of like how many likes we've gotten before the stream ended. I'm so far liking this new stream schedule. Liking how I've kind of been formatting them a little bit differently to get more engagement and conversation. It's gotten more likes and stuff, 24. So yeah, this is probably, I think this is my second most liked live stream. I think my most liked one is my deconstruction story, but I think some of those likes came after the fact. I can't remember how many likes there were when I ended the live. So yeah, so thank you so much for being here. I'm a random nobody on the internet. None of you have to give me any of your time or attention or anything, so the fact that anyone stops and listens to me even for a second is really cool. And then people stay and they chat and they like and subscribe and come back for more live streams. It blows my mind, because it's just like, why? It's just like, I'm not that special, but I appreciate any and all support that you give me and have given me. 25 likes. Thank you so much. I apologize for arguing in chat, but it gets the numbers. It gets the numbers, and that's kind of what we're here for, is just to discuss things. But I usually go live. My new live schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at about 9:15-ish Central Standard Time. Somewhere between 9 and 9:30, probably, I'll go live. You're special to us. Well, thank you. So yeah, hope to see you in future lives. Thank you so much again for being here and for interacting. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this.